this is Dom from BlackToad Studios and time for another army showcase video. Aren't you guys lucky? So today is an army that I don't really run on the channel too often, although it is close to my heart. These guys don't see as much love as they should. So this is my World Eater army on the right. Hold your cover. And down on the left here, the Skull Takers. So let's start over on the right hand side. So this was one of my first fully painted armies. I've had it for years now, so I've been adding things over the last few years, and you can kind of tell it looks a bit tired, and it's definitely some of my early painting here. The basing is a bit all over the place, to say the least. So we started off with a desert theme on some of them here, and then we've gone towards the standard earth, mud and grot that I have on my other armies. But this army itself, the World Eaters, started back in, I think, 6th or 7th edition. Probably 7th edition, I think. And when I picked up the Chaos Codex, I've always had a love for the Berserkers and the World Eaters. Mainly goes all the way back to the days you used to get the Snap Fit World Eaters. Back when I was a kid, they came out in a White Dwarf, and I was like, wow, these are amazing. And I had loads of them. And then as time goes on, you grow up, I got rid of them at one point. And then I found myself getting drawn back towards Karn and the Eightfold Path. So I picked up the Chaos Codex in the Games Workshop, and I thought, oh, you can have them as troop choice now. And yeah, I just went from there, really. So the idea of the army was to have several squads of Berserkers, which you can see here. There's all squads of 8, and then some Defilers, which will look over here. So let's go through the Defilers quickly, actually. So this is Citizen Snips, Zoidberg, and Captain Crustacean. My 3 Defilers, none of which have heads, because that was more of a modelling thing I wanted. I didn't like the look of the heads, they looked too goofy, so I've kind of kept them without their heads. And I really love these models. I don't know what it is a lot about them I like, but the claws are brilliant, the legs, they're just so different compared to most vehicles you have in the 41st millennium. And yeah, I'm quite happy. I love these guys. I normally use them in an apocalypse game because they've got battle cannon, they're big nasty claws, they go up the battlefield, they've got a lot of wounds, they're quite resilient, but standard games don't tend to use them that much anymore. Anyway, yeah, so I had these guys in here, had some bike squads, which I love. So these are 2 squads of 7. Yes, I know 7's not the Karn number, although I do have 2 icon bearers that I never got around to painting, and it's still in my my box. So they will get painted one day at some point. As I said, these guys really haven't had the love because the model range, unfortunately, for the World Eaters, it's kind of a little bit poor, in my opinion. They still need to have some new models, because these guys, bit clunky, ham-fisted kind of guys going on here. Definitely kind of reaches back to old school 40k, and I would love to revisit these guys, but no, my luck. I would start remodeling them, start repainting them, and then a brand new kit will come out, and I'd be sad, be in my sad face. And so always the guys leading the force was going to be Karn, the Betrayer, the old one. But then the new one came out, so I got the new one, and I love him. Karn is just iconic in so many ways. In the Black Library stories, in the background, the model himself is just brilliant. Rules are really good fun as well. You get him in combat, and he just hacks and hacks and hacks. And I normally find in apocalypse games, like Tom won't ignore him. He'll find him on the battlefield, and he'll target him just because Karn is a butcher. And I think when you guys watch the apocalypse game with the new apocalypse rules, he just hacked through so much stuff. It was brilliant. Also, I got a Warpsmith there. Quite like him. It's a very cool kit I made up there, and I think he was one of the last editions I had for the army there, so yeah, he's cool. And then over on the far left here, a biker lord, which I was always proud of. 2 lightning claws on a bike, and he was the overall leader of this warband. He was the one that's added a bit of strategy, because you don't follow Karn for strategy. So the biker lord there, he was he was a tactician, the best you can for World Eaters, and he implemented a lot, and they were pretty successful in the time I ran them. So yeah, they all came in here, lots of Berserker squads. And then down here, we've got a, what do we call it? Possessed squad, 5 possessed there that were converted. Now they came in when the Karn Demon King Kovacs came in, and back in 7th edition, if you wanted to run the detachment, you needed a squad of possessed, and I reluctantly got myself a squad of possessed. So they are there for a reason. They don't see much light because I don't really like them very much. I don't like the possessed models. I really hope Games Workshop bring out some new ones. These are more of a kit bash from several kits. But yeah, that is those guys there. They don't see much love. Occasionally they'll appear in a battle, and hopefully in a future battle report, this force will all come out in force. I mean, I've got about just under 4,000 points of World Eaters, which is pretty good going. Down here, the Chosen. So these are also one of the latest squads that have been added in here, using a lot of the Raptor parts. Some really cool poses there. A nice selection of combat weapons, and yeah, they are one of my favourite units to run when I run this army, because I just like the idea of these, these elite few running alongside Karn and kind of getting up the battle and just hacking people apart. So right at the back of this army here. Oh, sorry, just going to the bikers a bit more. Actually, it's got some cool conversions I did here. I've got a guy leaping off the bike here, World Eater, you never can be too restrained there. Got a little guy carrying a flail behind here. There's some cool little kits, big axe guy there, power fist here, and lightning claw on this guy here. Oh, and the old school dreadnought from Forge World, don't forget him. Tom, years ago, way before we started the channel, had 2 of these. He had a World Eater army, he probably doesn't even remember, and he had 2 of them, and I was like, oh my goodness, they are awesome. So yeah, I got one of them. Back, Helldrake, my first Helldrake, and for some reason I keep buying Helldrakes now, so he must have done something right, although painting these things is a beast, and painting gold, oh jeez, that is hard work compared to silver. So yeah, that's my first Helldrake. I love him. He was Flappy actually, it's a good name to my Wood Eaters. Down here got Scully, Lord of Skulls. Once again, I field him in most Apocalypse games, although he doesn't have much luck because, once again, he gets targeted very quickly because he is a beast if he gets up and close. So he does take a lot of damage. Next, we have Mulder, the Khitan. You get it? Scully, Mulder. And it's similar. I mean, he gets a bit more luck because he's I think he's a bit faster, but he doesn't get targeted quite as much as Scully. And they're just fun. These are guys that are just fun to run. In fact, I wouldn't mind a 3rd World Eater super heavy, just so I can run them as a detachment at some point in the games, ally them something else. But yeah, really good fun. Love these guys. And then down here, we have got the Skull Takers. The Skull Takers were painted by a friend of mine who also has done the Renegades and Heretics. So we've got Zuffa, the Impaler here, and he is brutal. I played him quite recently, and yeah, he's a nasty piece of work, this guy. So yeah, he's one of my favourites. We've got a converted Exalted Champion. It was a gift. And yeah, he comes out occasionally as well. Although the issue with this army here, he's kind of a bit null and void because the rest of this army tends to be stomping up the battlefield by themselves or deep striking in. And then behind we've got the Forge World Terminators here. So they're mostly armed with axes, and another squad here. And these were part of the original World Eater army. So my friend Carl, he painted them up and they kind of became their own. Yeah, so these guys will tend to be run as a little detachment by themselves, or they will join the Renegades and Heretics, or maybe my Knights. I've got 2 Hellbrutes there. I brought these 2 in a pack. There's a slight bit of conversion work on them, and he's done a really good job. So this army it's quite a large-ish army, I think. I'm very proud of it. Like I say, it's got a place in my heart where they've done their service. They've come out. They came out not too long ago at a tournament just for a bit of fun, just run on the battlefield and get slaughtered. But they are good fun because basically when you run Karn, especially World Eaters, you can never really lose, because if you lose your entire army, Karn has won in the long run. And if you end up killing the enemy army, once again you've won. So you're always winning with Karn. But yeah, this is the army. And for future plans, I don't know at the moment. I would quite like to do some more characters for the World Eaters, and I could probably run alongside other things because I've got Karn, the biker guy there. I'd quite like some champions, executioners, and just do a little bit of a kit bashing session with a few characters and see how effective they could be. Say until the new kits come out for the berserkers, I'm not going to do much because it's a lot of hassle. I'd probably rebase these guys. If you guys want to see them more on the channel, rebase them all, chuck them out there and see how much damage they can do. But once again, once the world starts turning and this self-isolation is over, I would probably do that if I wanted to push this any further. But yeah, I'm happy with this force at the moment. So yeah, future plans, probably more characters. Maybe, like I said, another super heavy at some point. I don't know, maybe a Kaitan or a Lord of Skulls again. We'll see if anything comes up secondhand, and I'd probably try and purchase it. But at the moment, that is what it is. As for the Skull Takers down here with Zuffa, maybe another squad of Terminators, maybe a 10-man squad of Lightning Claws turned into Red Butchers, maybe. That could be quite nasty, I think. But yeah, if there's anything you guys would like to see in this army, let me know. But it's at the moment, it is what it is. It's not going to change. But this is my World Eater force. And we will soon see a full showcase of my full Chaos armies together. The 83rd Warhost. Of course, these are part of the 83rd Warhost. Karn has some sort of flashback to the Shadow Crusade during the Heresy, fighting alongside the Word Bearers. Good times and bad times, and normally pledges his allegiance to the Word Bearers with promise of a good battle, which of course the Vulture always gives over to him. So this is it. This is Dom from BlackToad Studios. I'm going to carry on rambling by myself with the camera being off, and I will see you next time. Take care.